Hello and welcome back as we continue to talk about CSA concepts, this time moving from implementation and development to architecting for security in AWS. In this particular lesson, we're going to talk about shared security responsibility model and its attributes. So let's dive into that here in the Orion papers. So when we are architecting for security in AWS, there is something that we have to be aware of called the shared security responsibility model. Now, AWS is responsible for portions of the cloud, and you as the customer have portions of the cloud that you are responsible for, thus creating a shared security responsibility. This shared responsibility model does reduce the operational burden on you as AWS operates, manages, and controls the components from the host operating system and virtualization layer down to the physical security of the facilities in which these services operate. As the customer, meaning you, using AWS means you assume the responsibility and management of the guest operating system, including updates and security patches, and other associated application software, as well as the configuration of the AWS provided security group firewall. You are also responsible for your own coded applications and custom applications built on top of the cloud. So now let's take a look at an example of an EC2 instance and what AWS is responsible for in terms of security and what you as the customer are responsible for in terms of security. So as previously mentioned, AWS is responsible for the security of the facilities and the physical hardware itself. So as we know, an EC2 instance is a virtual machine running on actual physical hardware in an AWS data center. So AWS is responsible for the physical security of the data center and of the actual hardware in the data center. It is also responsible for the network infrastructure and the virtualization infrastructure. So that means that it is in charge of data transmitted internally inside of their data centers, as well as the virtualization software used to create your EC2 instance. As the customer, you are responsible for the security of things like the Amazon machine image, running security on the actual operating system that you decide to install on your EC2 instance, any applications that you install on the operating system on your EC2 instance, data in transit and data at rest, data stores, and also credentials. As we know, it is best practice to never store API keys on your EC2 instance or in your Amazon machine image. You always want to use IAM roles whenever possible. So it's really important to understand the shared responsibility model and what you are responsible for as the customer and what AWS is responsible for. And a really simple way to think about it is that AWS is responsible for the physical hardware itself and the underlying software that creates the virtual machine. And then you are responsible for the guest operating system and then everything that comes on top of that. And with that, we will conclude this lesson. Thank you for watching. You may now move on.